Yeah. We're here. Let me just share this real quick. Just did an IG live to tell people that we're live right now because we are live right now. So let me just quickly drop that. Let me change that thumbnail real quick. Get my friendly face in there. No, actually, let me get that clock in there, that ticking clock. No, I can't see it. All right, you know what? Whatever. Never mind. Bang. No. Done. And let me add one address here. YouTube.com/DJ TLM TV or Twitch.tv/DJ TLM. Now, that's not all the platforms. You probably know that. You might be tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. It's all good. Mixcloud. But I'm just going to add these two and post this. Bang. Share. All right, that's done. I'm a little bit early today. That's why I did the extra announcement on IG. Share the Knowledge Live. We're going live right now. The weekly DJ Q&A podcast live stream where you can ask me any DJ-related questions. DJ Favors in the building. The Mix Chemist is here. Jay Valeria was good. And we got Deepesh on Facebook. DJ Six is here. I'm a little bit early today because I got to be out a little bit early today. I've been up and running all day long. Workout in the morning. And I've been helping someone move. So I've been moving all sorts of stuff, furniture, you name it. And I got to do some more moving right after this podcast. So it's going to be a quick hour and a half to 2 hours right now. And that's going to be it for today. But that should be plenty of time to talk DJ. True Life Elder in the building. Salute. Let me see. Is that audio coming in here? Oh, yeah, it is. There we go. We'll see if I use that in the back. For now, just to set that mood. Vinyl Touch. Salute was good. I hope y'all had a great weekend and are having a great week. It is already Wednesday. It is, let me see my clock. It is 6:41 p.m. here in Amsterdam. So that's the local time. And, yeah, I had a busy weekend doing some gigs. Did a video mix on Sunday for those who missed it. And I'll probably do that once a month from now on. Pete and Parker, salute. I've been meaning to do that for a very long time. I've DJ'd with video before using Serato Video, like way back. I've done it in clubs on several occasions. And I always thought about, like, let me also do a live stream with video. But I saw quite a few live streams out there with video. Didn't know if I wanted to implement it already. And last Sunday I was like, you know what? Let me just do one. And I have a pretty big collection of videos as it is. But I also have another source for videos. And I'm going to see if I can build my collection a little bit more. But I have like 1,500 videos or more already, like music videos. So I'm good to go. I could do streams for a couple of months easily with the videos that I currently have. But it was fun. It doesn't really change a lot for me when I'm doing my live stream anyway. Like, I still had to explain some people, like, no, I don't have to do separate stuff to mix the videos. It's still the same DJ software. You're just not loading in MP3s. You're loading in MP4s. That's the biggest difference. Self-explanatory is in the building. All good. All right, this question comes around quite often. DJ Hawk with the question right here. Rain 4 versus Flex 10 using Serato DJ Pro. Thoughts? No. I don't have thoughts for the simple fact that I haven't used the Rain 4. I've been using the Flex 10 for a couple of weeks. I used it with Rekordbox, which wasn't the greatest experience, and that's not because I don't like Rekordbox, but I've gotten pretty used to adding stems to my way of mixing, and the stems on Rekordbox aren't good yet. So that wasn't the most comfortable experience. The last 2 streams I did with the Flex 10 were with Serato, which worked way better, in my opinion, especially with the stems. So I like the Flex 10. It's a nice controller. Compared to the DDJ 1000, I'm trying to remember all the features on there. And if you have, for instance, if you have a DDJ 1000, and if you're using Serato, you have the SRT, I don't know if I necessarily feel this is like a really big upgrade, but I'm trying to remember all the features on the 1000. But more importantly, regarding your question, I just haven't tried the Rain 4, so I can't really compare them yet. Marciano, what up, man? And Deepesh wants to know, have you ever attended hip-hop dance battles? Yes, I've attended several. I've never competed because I don't really dance, but I do DJ at a dance battle every year. And it's funny that you ask because it's Wednesday now, and coming Monday, I'm DJing at a hip-hop dance battle. Well, it's not a hip-hop dance battle. They have several categories. They have house, they have hip-hop, they have freestyle, and we have 3 DJs. I DJ during the hip-hop section of the event, of the battles. So I'm doing that on Monday, and I already checked with the organizer and asked if it was okay if I would stream during my sets. And he said, yes, that would be dope. So I'm going to check. Either I'm going to be live streaming my parts, so the hip hop parts, and I want to make it at least a 2-cam setup so you can see me, but you can also see the dancers. But I'm going to check with them. If they want to, I'll be cool just to stream the entire event so you can also see the other categories, the house and freestyle. But I don't know that yet. So as soon as I know more about that, I'll let you know. But that will be on Monday. So coming Monday, I'll be live streaming from the dance battles. And my first set will be, I think, at 3 in the afternoon, Amsterdam time. So I'll make sure I'll have times up on my IG and maybe on my website as well. But I'm going to see if they're allowing me to do the whole day, but I'll have to just double check with the other DJs as well, because if they don't want their sets to be live streamed, that is perfectly fine. That's going to be their choice. But I will be streaming at least part of that event. Hopefully a 2-cam setup. And if worst comes to worst and I can't do everything, I'll just have a live stream, a cam set up on me, streaming my set. And every once in a while, I'll just try to turn the cam so you can see a bit of the dancing as well. But yes. I got to scroll up. K-Dub is in the building. Amarjeet is in the building. I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Sven is in the building. Salute to you. And we got DJ Mike Easy in the building. So, see a bunch of questions. So let's get these questions rolling. I just got to find one folder real quick because I've been replaying the same beat in the background. I should be able to just play all of these, right? If I hit open, will it play all of them? Oh no, that doesn't work. It's playing 1 second of each. Give me half a second, guys. Let me see if I can fix this. My Windows Media Player did not like that. My Windows Media Player really didn't like that. Okay. Let me just, I'll get back to that music. It's not important. Just wanted to add a little background sound, but the questions are more important, so we start with that. After that dance battle, there was another question. Let's see. All right, here we go. Sven, when I order many tracks by Energy, I often lose the reference and I pack tracks to bangers on the next day. I wouldn't do it. Do you have any idea to stay objective? Let me read that again just to make sure I understand. When I order many tracks by Energy, I often lose the reference and I pack tracks to bangers on the next day. And on the next day, I wouldn't do it. So if I understand correctly, after you've been listening to tracks for a while, you kind of lose your sense of what actually is a banger and what isn't, and you add tracks to a folder called bangers, but the next day when you listen back, you're like, that's not really a banger. I think that's what you're saying. Hopefully understood that correctly. An idea to stay objective. I think that's going to be different for everyone, but in your case, if you notice that this happens after you've done it with a couple of tracks, then you should probably add breaks. What I mean by that is just do a couple of tracks, take a 5-minute break, do a couple of tracks, take a 5-minute break, so that you maybe don't lose reference as you mentioned it. That would be my advice reading your question. And Deepesh asked the dance battles. We got that one already. How much? Okay. So when it comes to my part of the dance battle, I don't really prepare that. The only thing I do is I try to make at least a selection of tracks that I would like to play. Now, mind you, this is the first year that I'm going to use Serato there with stems, which actually makes my life even easier because I can take out any vocal if I please and keep it going as an instrumental. But I make a little bit of a selection just to choose tracks that have a certain amount of energy that would fit that dance battle. Now, there's a lot of hip-hop dance battles nowadays where they're actually playing music that wouldn't be considered just normal hip-hop. Sometimes it's more electronic with a different type of energy. And the promoter for this event, I've been doing this for like, 5, 6, 7 years, for quite a long time, specifically wanted me for the hip-hop category to play hip-hop music. And that doesn't mean it has to be like 90s hip hop specifically, but to make sure I stay within that, what we call more classic hip hop realm. So when I'm making my selection, that's what I look for. So mostly hip hop tracks between 1990 and 2010, but I can pick any type of new track. Like last year, I was playing Coast Contra tracks as well, and that was just out. So basically anything goes. I make a little bit of a selection so I know I'll have enough tracks there. In the past, I also would pick like instrumentals. Now with stems, I don't really have to do that anymore, so that helps me out. But I always have enough music with me because I'll have my normal music folders on me anyway. Mixmaster G is in the building. Goedenavond. And let's see, Mike Easy had a question as well. The question is, as a young DJ, how do you get yourself out there so people will know you're a DJ? Well, it's a little bit hard for me to put myself in that position of a young DJ in this era because I'm pretty sure times change and certain things change. And this is definitely, we're talking the last time I was a young DJ, we have to go back like 20, 25 years. But I will always say one of the most important things would be to network and get out there. That is important. If you want people to know you're a DJ, you got to meet the people to let them know you're a DJ. So networking is important. And if you have specific venues in mind and you would like to play at those venues, you need to visit those venues. Try to meet the DJs, the promoters. Introduce yourself as a DJ and introduce yourself to as many people as possible. So networking will always be important. Now, of course, online promotion is a good thing, and also networking online. That is something you can do from the comfort of your home or wherever you are on your phone. So if you're on IG, there could be a lot of posts that have to do with the music you play. And you make sure you get active in those comments. And when I say get active in those comments, I don't mean that you leave comments saying, hey, I'm a DJ, check me out. That is an absolute no-no. I don't think a lot of people will click, and most people will find that annoying, but actually add value. So let's say you play a certain style of music, you like certain artists. When you see posts by that artist, they post some new music or whatever, there's going to be comments, mostly from people who like that music. Leave your comment as well. Maybe you have a more knowledgeable comment when it comes to the music side of things, but just be active in that community and just leave dope posts. I'm not saying that gets you gigs, but you want to get that name out there. I hope on social your name is DJ. What was your name again? If you're asking for yourself, that your name is Mike, DJ Mike Easy on social, so that when they see you comment, they see your name. Some people might be interested when they see DJ and check you out. Of course, when they check you out, it's important that you also have material online so they can actually listen to what it is you do. But network in any way you can. That is one thing you should definitely do. Cyborg, what's good? I'm trying to compose a psytrance track, but I'm struggling to get an impactful intro. Could you help me with some tips to make the intro, with some basics of making an intro? I cannot at all. I've never made psytrance, so I would have no idea what kind of intros are used in that genre. So chat, anyone in the chat into psytrance, holla at Cyborg if you have any tips regarding that subject. Hey, K-Dub bought the AudioTechnica. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. See, that's great to see. I think that was a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about that here as well. And someone was talking about the LP, I think the 120s not being the greatest, the 120 USB. And a couple of people, including Vinyl Touch, recommended the AudioTechnica LP 1240s. So hearing this right now, that it's a major upgrade, that's great to hear. So dope. Love seeing that. After you play a set using Serato, is there an easy way to group the played and colored tracks? Yeah, you don't really have to. Serato's history actually has everything for you. So, for instance, when I have to upload my my audio, when I upload my audio replay for my live streams to Mixcloud, I want to add the track list. All I have to do is go into Serato, go into history, and then I can see just a list of everything that I loaded and played. And there I have everything. And you can export that in Serato in several different formats. So that would be the easiest way to group what you played. So take a look at that in Serato history, and then you can see by date and time, and then you can find your latest set. And that's what I do. And on Mixcloud, when I want to import, I've imported the audio or uploaded the audio to Mixcloud. And then when I want to add my track list, it has the option that I can just upload a Serato playlist. What I'll do in Serato is I go to my history, I'll click on the latest set I played, and then upload that to Serato.com. It goes to my Serato.com, to my account, and it appears there as a playlist. I can then take a look at it if I want to make sure I hide certain things, because I do a lot of doubles, so I load everything in 2 decks, and sometimes the track will show up twice. I'll just hide it once so you only see it once. After I'm done, I make that playlist public. I can copy the link, paste that link to Mixcloud, and bam, I have my entire playlist that I played right there added to the mix. So Serato works great for that. Ray Hammer Time, salute. It's good to be back, 100%. How much difference to serve music for dancers and party movers? That's a good question. I think on one side, I would say it's easier to play for the dancers, because I don't have to pay too much attention to, is this track a current hit? Will this work here if they don't know it yet? Because dancers, even though they will react to something they know, they also just react to that energy. So if I have a beat that they've never heard before, but I know this beat just bangs, I can play it, and I know all the dancers are going to be like, oh, I want to dance to this right now. In a club, if you play something new and they've never heard it before, you don't often get that hype reaction, because in the club they want recognition. They want to make sure they'll react when they know something. So it's a ton of fun to play for the dancers. The only downside for me is the dancers are, especially during the battles, are on a restricted time. So there's an MC and he has a stopwatch. So I do the 2-on-2 battles. They all get like, I think, a minute. And I'll give one dancer from team 1 and one dancer from team 2 the same beat. But for the next 2 dancers, I switch it up. So sometimes you would want to play a beat even longer, and then you hear that 3, 2, 1, and then you have to take that beat out again. So sometimes that is the downside to it. But yeah, I would say it's easier to play for the dancers. Uptown wants to know a site that I could recommend to download old school tracks, but also newer tracks and remixes. So paid sites, a lot ask for credit cards, and I don't have a credit card. Look, there's not a lot of DJ pools that offer a lot of old school tracks. The reason being they're not supposed to have the old school tracks, because DJ pools are there to basically there to supply DJs with new promos of tracks that are being released or have just been released, because the labels and artists would want the DJs to start playing that in clubs. Now, some DJ pools have a little bit of an old school collection. There used to be more DJ pools, but some have gotten in trouble, I think. And right now, I don't really know if there are a lot of DJ pools with a lot of old school tracks. Now, I love using BeatSource for that, because BeatSource does have music from all eras, but it's not a DJ pool. So you can buy music there, or you can have a subscription and then you can stream their music in your DJ software. But they don't have like an option to do like a monthly payment and then download everything. A lot of them ask for credit cards, but you don't have one. One suggestion when it comes to credit cards, what I do is I have a prepaid credit card. So meaning you have a credit card now with a credit card number, but they can only take from that card what you add to it. So let's say you take that prepaid credit card and you put like $50 on it. It's not like somehow someone can take more than $50 from it. I just got that because at a certain point I needed a credit card for certain purchases. The first time I went to the States, I also noticed that like, okay, you could hardly do anything without a credit card. So I just really needed one, but I didn't want to have one that can run up a bill that at the end of the month, all of a sudden you have like thousands of dollars that have to come out of your regular bank account. But beyond that, I'm not sure. Top 3 record pools right now. I gotta admit, I'm not really into the record pool game. I haven't paid much attention. So my record pools are DJ City. I work with DJ City. So I've just had an account there forever now. And I use Beat Junkies. Those are my 2 record pools. And I haven't used anything else in quite some time. So that's not even enough for a top 3. About stems, is there any option to upgrade Serato without buying a new laptop? I mean, of course you can upgrade Serato. Maybe if you have an older laptop, stems might not work that well, but the rest of Serato should still work fine. Now, I don't know how old your laptop is, because it's not like Serato needs the most powerful laptop to run. And even the stems will run on quite a few machines, I think. Joe DJ 127 was good. How has the supply chain backlog affected you, if at all? Took me at least, let's say it took me like almost 3 months just to get an upfader for my Pioneer S7. Yeah, it hasn't, I haven't experienced a lot of issues because there were not a lot of things I needed during that time, but I've heard plenty of people, like also when new controllers came out, they were really hard to get a hand on because they had a couple in and then everything was on back order. But no, personally, I haven't had a lot of issues with that. Ray Hammer Time says, question about finding tracks. Sometimes I can't find tracks in my record pool or Beat Source. I usually buy from iTunes, but it gets pricey. Any solutions besides YouTube and SoundCloud? Okay, so the record pool doesn't have it. Beat Source doesn't have it. iTunes has it, but then you have to buy it and it costs more. But does that happen often? Because if you say it's sometimes, like if it would happen every once in a while, then I think buying from iTunes would probably be your best option. Besides that, I'm not sure. I would never suggest YouTube. SoundCloud sometimes could work, but no, I'm not sure. Let me think about that for a sec. 6 wants to know, as far as getting mobile gigs, do you think it's the same cutthroat situation as it was in the 90s as far as DJs competing with each other to get the gig, or do you think there's enough work for everyone these days? I mean, I have no knowledge of the mobile scene, if it is that cutthroat. Couldn't tell you at all. I don't know. I think their whole scene and business is quite different. I don't know. Chat. Do we have mobile DJs in the chat? Let us know. V, what's good? Any suggestion on where to upload mixes for alternative to SoundCloud? Mixcloud. I mean, Mixcloud is your best bet if you want to have a mix uploaded and stay there. You'll never have a problem there because they have all of that sorted out with the labels. So Mixcloud would be my suggestion. That's where I upload as well. D-Boy, what up, man? My battery is so low, so I came here just to give you a quick salute. Talk to you soon, man. They aren't really originals, mostly ReDrums and edits in pools. Yeah, that happens a lot. I don't know how to feel about the ReDrum thing. I think I've only heard like 1 or 2 ReDrum versions of a song that I was like, hey, cool, this sounds nice. Most of the times when I hear the ReDrums, they just don't have the same feel as the original, and it takes away from the energy or vibe that the original song has. I'm not the biggest fan of ReDrums. Nara Chen on Facebook was good. Oh, wait. Before I neglect my Mixcloud people, I had Mixcloud open. Let me see. Where did my Mixcloud go? Give a quick salute to my people on Mixcloud. Oh, that's Mike Easy on Mixcloud. Wait, Mike Easy was also here, right? Or was that? Wait, Mike Easy. Did we have Mike Easy here as well, or was that Easy Mike? Now I have to see. Oh, that's Mike Easy. Okay, you're on both platforms. Got you. Shout out to my dual platform people out there. 6, I didn't open Kick today. Otherwise, you'd probably be on there as well. Let's see. DJ Christian Remix was good. Had you used any of the new MacBook Pro M1 or M2 with the Serato Stems? No, not the MacBook Pro. I'm using it with the MacBook Air. M1 MacBook Air. Works perfect. So the MacBook Pro will have no issue running that at all. Yeah. All the M's do great. Deepesh says, yeah, I do feel the same. Playing at Cyphers is more fun. Showing skills and more fun. Battling somehow is more about digging best music. Yeah, it's all about the vibe there. That's what I love about the dance battles. Every time I'm there, the vibe is always great. Also, I love to hear Lucas Benjamin, who plays there during the freestyle category. Every year I'm there, he's playing songs, and he plays a mixture of something between hip hop and electronic and whatever. And every time I hear him play, there's at least 2 or 3 tracks that I have to just walk over to the laptop to see, like, what is this? Love hearing his sets. But it's all about vibe there. What's your experience with Bandcamp? If you're a big user, how do you navigate it to find gems? I haven't spent enough time there. So I haven't, I've looked there. I found some songs there, and I do get some recommendations in my email every week or 2 weeks. Like, hey, there's new music in this or that genre, but it takes time to sift through that. And I haven't found like a best practice for that yet. But I understand what you mean, because when I was there, there's a lot on there, but I didn't really find a great way to navigate it yet. Also because I saw so many names I didn't know. I just have to go through all of them one by one, which takes up a lot of time. Hype man, DJ Kelly Kel, salute. I appreciate hearing that. Appreciate that a lot. And in the subject of record pools, BPM Supreme isn't the same no more ever since they changed to a new layout. Okay. I've used them briefly. I was going to do a thorough check, like check out a bunch of different DJ pools. And when I started that, within no time, life intervened and I didn't get around to really do that. So I only checked them for a minute. Looked pretty cool then, but that's a couple of years ago already. Loco Lopez, what up? Long time. And Syndicate says DJ City, BPM Supreme, and Zip DJ as recommendations. Dekker, what up, man? Dekker 07 in the building. Groningen was lachen laatst, man. Ook al was jij er niet. Loco Lopez says the mobile scene can be cutthroat, but it doesn't really affect me. If you do a good job and have a good following, the industry isn't affected. So I appreciate that insight into a world that I just don't know enough about it. And Syndicate says, I'm a mobile DJ in NYC, not as cutthroat, plenty of gigs, but you do have to hustle. Right. And I would think that it's also a lot about word of mouth, right? Because you have you're not getting booked by clubs. You have to actually find clients, right? Or get the clients to find you. Basically like the same way wedding DJs do have to do that, right? At least that's what I would think. Loco Lopez says, I have an M2 max highest core. That is a beast. 32 gigs RAM, 4 terabyte SSD. That sounds lovely. Yes, indeed. That is a monster. Favor says, I'm a mobile DJ, plenty of gigs, not cutthroat, but there is a popularity aspect to it. Right. And K-Dub says there's been a lot of talk about record pools. I never hear Amazon Music mentioned. I bought a few songs using my digital points. What do you think of the quality? Great question. I've never checked. I have an Amazon Music account, but I've never really checked or compared. And Favor says I've used Beat Junkies, DJ City, BPM Supreme, my MP3 pool, and it's all about your preference. Yes. I mean, that's the one thing I noticed. Every pool will have a difference, sometimes a slight difference or a bigger difference in what they have to offer. I think it also depends on how legit they're actually doing their thing. Because especially back in the days, a lot of DJ pools would have a lot of music, also a lot of old school music. And like I said earlier, that's not really what they're supposed to be serving. And I believe that it's that's why you can't find a lot of old school music now anymore in the DJ pools. Unless you have like a more low-key DJ pool that's doing things a little bit under the radar. Maybe they still have a little bit more to offer, but I don't know. Ray Hammer Time says, what's your current solution or solutions for backup of your music in case of a computer crash, theft, etc.? So backups, you need to have backups. When it comes to your files, not just your music, but maybe you have other important files. All of your paperwork could be in there, invoices, stuff like that, that you might need to have for a couple more years. Let's not even start about personal photos or videos, kids, stuff like that. Like I have videos of my kids that I would never want to lose. So you want to have backups. So I have my files like that. So music, video, documents. I have them on my computer, on a hard drive on the computer. I have them on an external hard drive right here in the studio. I also have them on another external hard drive at home. So I have them on a computer. I have them on an external drive. I have them on an external drive in another location. And if you want to be extra safe, and I've done that with several of my files, you also want to have a cloud backup. That way, if something would happen to this location or that location, you know you still have at least one drive with the files. If something would happen to all of those locations, you would still have a cloud backup. So that's what I would do. Have at least one external drive where you're at, one in another location, and a cloud backup. I mean, you cannot live without backups anymore. At a certain point, I just saw like, hey, it makes no sense because especially normal hard drives, like the SSDs have become a lot more affordable, but they're still way more expensive than your traditional hard drive. But if we're talking about external hard drives, they do not cost a lot of money. You can easily, I don't know how many files you have, but like a 4 terabyte external or even an 8 terabyte external doesn't cost a lot of money. Get 2 of those and make sure you put your files on both of those drives and have them in separate locations. Now, that would mean that every once in a while you would have to take one of those hard drives to the other locations and sync them up, but that should be worth it. And for your daily backups, you have software you could use. So, for instance, CCC, the Carbon Copy Cloner, is a great tool to have just to make sure you have what's on your computer backed up to an external drive. And of course, there's other software that can do that. Some people just use Time Machine. If you're on Windows, you have several options as well. That can work great. You also have cloud storage that you can sync where it will automatically upload it to the cloud. You could do that with Dropbox as well if you have it on your computer and use Dropbox for stuff like that. But multiples is the key here. And Mixmaster G says multiple numbered backups on rotation so you can go back more than the latest backup. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, the storage has become affordable enough that we can't have the excuse that we didn't have money for an extra drive. It is important. Like, it's great for your normal files, but especially if you're also producing, you want to have everything backed up. So if anything happens, you don't all of a sudden lose everything. Loco Lopez has a NAS running, and that is great for network storage as well. You run backups to the NAS, and you can recover them from just about anything. Even if a drive fails, you can rebuild the array. Yeah, for sure. It does depend on how you have them set up. I don't know what RAID you're using with that, but for sure, a NAS is still something that's on my list. But I have to say, even though drives have become more affordable, at the moment, I don't have the extra cash laying around to get myself the enclosure and the amount of drives I want in there. But a NAS is on my wish list for sure. Keep in mind that cloud will never give you a bootable backup, which is what you need if your internal hard drive dies. Well, no. I understand what you're saying, but for the way I need my backups, so for instance, backups of music or video files, a cloud backup will work just fine because there's nothing that has to be bootable for that. I just want to make sure those photos or videos are always somewhere. But of course, if you want to have a total backup of your computer, that's a little bit different. So I understand what you're saying. Did I miss anything? Let me see. I think I missed that one. Loco Lopez says, I had BPM Supreme, but now I use Tidal for open format stuff and Beat Source for remixes. Okay, so you're using Tidal and Beat Source. I mean, I say that, but I have a subscription to both as well. So like my first supplementary source besides my own music is Beat Source. But I've had it happen a couple of times that there's a song that isn't on Beat Source yet, and the chances are that Tidal will have it for sure. Wow, I'm all caught up. Great. So while I wait to see if another question comes in, let me just quickly see if I can get that music back up again. I want all of these tracks to play. I see Ray Hammertime with the question. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'll get there in a sec. Let me just start something in the background again. We're just playing around with that. I mean, I know I did that in the past as well. Yeah, see, that works. Not that we need it, but it's fun to play around. When you're with the Rodecaster, you have the option to have your computer audio run through it. Why not? All right, let me see. Ray Hammertime says, is track information like cue points, loops, tags saved when backing up to an external SSD or hard drive? How would that work in case I had to use different laptops? I mean, yeah. Like if you have songs that you've run through your DJ software, you added your cue points, loops, whatever. If you copy those songs, they'll have that info on there, if I'm not mistaken. Mixmaster G, back us up with that. Okay, depends on your DJ software. For Serato, yes, but for Tractor, Engine DJ, and Record Box, you'll need a bootable backup. Ah, okay. Is there an easy way to explain why that is? Why does that work for Serato, not the others? That's interesting for me personally. I wanna see if I know that. Vinyl Touch says the same thing. DJ software specific. I didn't know that. And Favor says I was using Beat Source, but it stopped on me. I think it's because I recorded a set using Beat Source tracks. Yeah, well, I can tell you for sure you cannot record when you have Beat Source tracks loaded into your decks. That's because Beat Source has an agreement that the songs on Beat Source can be used to stream in DJ software. So you can play them in DJ software, but they cannot be recorded. So there's like a block on that. Mixmaster G says, you Serato guys are spoiled. Serato stores the cues, loops, etc. inside the audio file. It's all in the metadata. Yeah, but somehow I assumed that would be the same for all the DJ software. So why isn't that the same for Tractor and Record Box? Because to me, that seems like the most logical thing to do, because then you don't have to... okay, let me see. Do that again. All other DJ software stores it in the collection database and then links it to the audio files, absolute file path. Okay. But is it me, or does it not make more sense to have it in the metadata? Because then it's just always there. If only my life was that easy. Damn. Okay. So that's a new one for me. And to be honest, to me, that would be another reason why I prefer Serato. Even though I didn't know that. Now that I know that, I'm like, damn. Okay. So I understand now why it works like that. I just don't understand the choice why all the other DJ software does that. So it might seem like it's logical, but it also means Serato has to write back updates to single files every time you make a change or even play a file. Yeah. Only Serato stores the metadata and tracked it to a certain extent. See, that's the dope thing about shared knowledge. That's loud. We learn new things all the time. That's why I'm helping on average 5 DJs a week fixing their collections. Mixmaster G says. Melissa Bishop on LinkedIn. Salute to you. Man. So yeah, I feel you, Ray. I feel you. That makes you want to consider using Serato for sure. Oh, so my audio player decided to stop. Why? I still see it here. Oh, you can still hear it. I just don't hear it. I think I know what I did. There we go. Got you. I hit something on the Rodecaster Pro, guys. Sorry. Mixmaster G says, are you on Mac OS? So Mixmaster G can help all of you when it comes to your music collection, or if you're thinking about switching DJ software and you're worried about what will happen to your entire collection because you've already set all of these cue points and loops, you name it, and you want to switch from whatever. Let's say you want to switch from Tractor to Rekordbox or from Rekordbox to Serato, whatever it is you want to do. If you want to switch between software, Mixmaster G has the answer because he created tools that can help you to sync your entire collection and convert it from, let's say, Rekordbox to Serato. So all of your cue points and loops can be converted as well. So you don't have to do that all over again. Yeah, see, Vinyl Touch, that was the thing for me as well. Like, I was so used to it because I'm using Serato that even when you take something from a DJ pool and it already comes with cue points in there, I was like, yeah, of course, because it stores it in the file. And now, come to find out, and it makes sense to me because I've been on Rekordbox on different computers and had to, like, I thought I had the same folder that I had on the other computer because I copied it, but the cue points weren't in there. That's because it wasn't from the same Rekordbox collection, just from the computer. I mean, I've had several occasions where I didn't understand why I had to reset cue points, and I think this may have something to do with it. And Loco Lopez says, I tried Algorithm DJ when Stems hit for that. Just never got used to it. I loved it when they came out with it. I think they were the first when they came out with their neural mix. The biggest problem for me at that time was that they did not have DVS support yet. So the only times I could use it was when I had my iPad Pro and a controller. And I've had some fun with those stems, and they sounded pretty okay. I think the Serato ones probably sound better. But some of them were definitely workable. You could work with them. But I couldn't use them for my normal sets because I'm playing DVS with turntables. Now Algorithm DJ finally has that DVS support, but now you have Serato with their stems. And of course, Rekordbox is there. Virtual DJ was already there as well. Rekordbox is there now, but they just have to improve the audio quality. That is important. I understand their perspective. Pioneer just wanted to make it that everyone, even if you're on an older computer, you can still use stems because they will work with a less powerful computer, but you can't really hear the difference. It's very noticeable. But they can improve that over time, for sure. So remember, when you add tags, you are increasing the file size, and software processes time a little bit too. It's a trade-off. Right. Got you. And Syndicate, I agree. A big up to the DJ CU. If you want to know what that means, that is Mixmaster G's software, his tools. The conversion utility, if I'm not mistaken. I always get the name wrong, Mixmaster G. I'm sorry. Marian, YouTube, what up, what up? Loco Lopez still using the NS7 III, and I'm glad they added support for stems. I mean, yeah, they added support for stems for the NS7 III. I mean, you can use that with any controller, right? You just have to MIDI map it. But the NS7 III is still a monster. It is still a monster. DJ conversion utility. There you go. Yes. King's Complex, what up? If anyone knows how to download music videos, I'm all ears. Well, you have actual video DJ pools. And like I said in the beginning of the stream, I have like 1,500 videos, and most of those videos come from video DJ pools. I used to use Smash Vids. I think it's called Smash Vision now, or vice versa. It was Smash Vision out, and now it's Smash Vids. They're one of those DJ pools. I think over the years they kind of changed their model. So you still have a subscription, but if I'm not mistaken, now you get like credits, so you can download a certain amount. When I was using them back in the days, you had like just a monthly subscription. And I know I took that subscription and I spent like the first week just downloading nonstop, getting as much as I could. And I got quite a little bit of a collection going on there for sure. Vinyl Touch says, In Music was foul for discontinuing the NS7 III. Yeah, man. I mean, I think they just wanted to make sure that their Rain 1 didn't have competition. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, because it's all in the same family. But yeah, they should have just continued working on that one as well. I mean, there's no reason. There should have been like an NS7 IV, you know? Yeah, so that's too bad. If you're DJ Bandit, what's good? If you're used to DJing with Serato DJ Pro and you're going to use CDJs, is it better to use USB sticks or hook up your laptop via USB? I mean, if you're used to DJing with Serato DJ Pro, then if you connect your computer to the CDJs, then you're still DJing with Serato DJ Pro. So that will feel very familiar. I don't know how you're using your Serato now. Are you using a controller or are you using DVS with turntables? If you're using a controller, then using CDJs with a DJM in the middle will be very similar to that for you. You still have your laptop screen. You still have your same way of looking for files. So that will be the most familiar. Now, if you have flash drives and you prepare your music in Rekordbox, then they work phenomenally on those CDJs. They work really well. But still, you're looking on a smaller screen. The browsing experience is different. So to me personally, I prefer a laptop screen because you just have more real estate to see what you're doing. Not during the mix because I'm not looking at my screen while I'm mixing, but especially just for the browsing purposes, you have a larger screen. So to me, that's a plus. But especially when I did my last sets here, like last year on the CDJ 3000s, and I just had a flash drive in there with music prepared on Rekordbox, it's a breeze to work with for sure. But if you are used to having a larger music collection and you play freestyle, CDJs are a little bit harder. Unless you really work Rekordbox, you get used to adding extra data, then the filtering options inside the CDJ work wonders for you as well. But that takes time. You have to really get into that, figure out how it works, and then it can be really, really dope. How do you source new vinyl records? What system do you organize your crates for efficient software playback? I don't source new vinyl records. I just don't have the funds to go out and buy vinyl. It's crazy expensive. So every once in a while, I buy some vinyl when I run into it, but I'm not on the lookout. Besides that, organizing my crates has been a drama forever. So I don't have a good solution for that. The only thing I say is I still want to make sure I keep my crates as small as I can and try to add more data to the file, so more tags, which will make it easier for me to find stuff using smart crates and stuff like that. Mixmaster G says the NS7 III was released before the InMusic takeover, so most likely the engineers scooted. That's possible, for sure. So maybe that could be a thing, a reason. But still, I think if they wanted to, they could have either got those engineers back, or they would still have the info to work and make a new one. They just didn't want to have competition for their own new baby, the Rain 1. But I don't know. Yeah, Loco Lopez, that's the thing for me. I've never been a 4-channel DJ, so that's the only reason why. I mean, I have the NS7, the original. I've used the 2 and the 3. It is a monster, but even when I used it, I was still using only 2 channels. So that's not the most important thing for me, but it just is an absolute beast. It really is. Deepesh says, I know you're a Serato user, but I'm having a problem with Rekordbox. Like whenever I update the software, after some time, automatically it gets back to the last version. Okay. So I just wanted to ask what you're running on, but Mixmaster G is there already. So what's your operating system and version? Windows 11. Have you had that issue yet, Mixmaster G? I know you're not running on Windows, but... And if you don't know, we might have to give our big friend a call. He knows for sure. And Syndicate says Lexicon is a great solution for editing your tags and metadata. I used Lexicon for a minute, but I stopped. I just don't remember why, actually. Do I still have that on the computer? Let me quickly see. Oh, no, I still have it. I just been out of it for a minute, and I haven't used that. But if I'm working on like the tags and the metadata, I love working in Rekordbox, to be honest, just because of their filtering options and all of their ways to add tags to your files. I like using it. And Marianne just bought a new portable hard drive. And I wonder how I organize my libraries, genres, decades, BPM, key, any suggestion. I mean, that's very personal. I've seen DJs who have an extensive hierarchy of how they organize their folders. And they'll have everything by year and genre and key and a whole bunch of stuff. So they have a million different folders in there. And for me personally, I prefer to work the other way around, and I'd rather have just a couple of folders with music, but add more tags to it so that I can use, when I'm in Serato, I can use their smart crates, or if I'm using Rekordbox, their intelligent playlists. And if you're not familiar with those will allow me to, if I'm doing a specific gig and I know I need a certain type of music, in Serato, I can make a crate, a smart crate. There's no music in that crate. The only thing it has is the option for me to set rules. And I can then tell that crate, hey, I want music from this genre. And I can name any genre. I want BPM higher than, and I can add a number. And then I can say I also want BPM lower than. So let's say I want higher than 90 BPM, lower than 105. At that moment, that crate is now full with that genre I named, and all of the music I have from that genre that is higher than 90 BPM and lower than 105. But if I have more tags, then I can add more rules to the smart crate. So maybe I have a rating and I have tracks rated with a number. And how higher the number, the more energy. And I want all the tracks that have an energy level of 7 and higher. Whatever. I'm just freestyling now, but you can make rules and it'll go through all of the music that I have in my software and add only the music that I specify. I prefer that, but I still have to do that with a lot of my music, like add all of the tags, because then I can make any crate on the drop just by thinking of what I need for that specific gig, instead of having to go through all sorts of folders and within folders to find one song from that specific genre, key, and you name it. And then I have to go to another folder for another track. But for some DJs, that works perfectly fine. That's why I say it's pretty personal. Loco Lopez wants to know, is Windows still funky on Serato or any other DJ software? I don't know. I have not had issues with Windows and Serato last year. Here on the studio computer, like a year and a half ago, I was streaming weekly and I didn't have a DJ computer. So I was streaming from my studio computer, but I was also running Serato from that same studio computer. And this was, at that time, Windows 10. It's now 11. I don't know if I'm happy with that, but I was running 10. And that worked perfectly. So I was streaming and using Serato from that same Windows 10 without any issues. With Windows 11, I haven't really used it, so I can't speak on that. And yeah, Mixmaster G, probably. That was I was thinking too. Like maybe there are still multiple versions on that computer. There you go. So basically what I was saying, Mixmaster G is saying the same thing about the smart playlist. So if you're using Rekordbox, they're intelligent playlists. On Serato, it's called smart crates. This Tractor has something similar, right? I don't know what that's called, but they have something like that where you can add rules, right? And Naura Chim says, I'm using an old 2014 MacBook Pro. My fans would come on here, and when I use Serato, still on version 2.6, the CPU would jump up from 30 to 100 back to 50%. Luckily, it hasn't crashed. Will placing a small fan in between the laptop stand and underneath the laptop help keep the laptop cool and CPU levels down? Also placing your MacBook on the stand that comes with the Odyssey flight case makes your computer hot. I mean, you want to make sure you have that computer off the table. I've made that mistake in the past that when I first started to play digitally, I had my computer like flat on the desk, and at a certain point that just overheated and died on me. Beyond that, I don't know. I don't know how well a 2014 MacBook Pro can hold up with the software anymore. I mean, I'm not saying it's not powerful enough, but it's getting old. It's 9 years old now. So I'm not sure if just a fan will help. I mean, you can give it a try. You can test that out, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Ana Son Goku, salute. What type of gear should I buy to teach DJ class for kids? I mean, to be honest, I probably would go with just the most basic, simple controller. If you're going to teach kids, you don't want to have like tons of bells and whistles on there. You're going to teach kids, you want to start with the basics. Plus, are you only getting one, or do you need like multiple units? Because then again, having a basic controller doesn't run up the cost too much. But the easiest solution would probably be something like a small controller. It kind of depends, though, because for controllers, you mostly need computers, even though there's a bunch of small controllers out there that if you're using, for instance, Algorithm DJ, can also run on an iPad or even an iPhone. But that will probably be a little bit easier than having like entire turntable setups there. It kind of depends on how much room do you have, how much budget do you have, and what are you planning to teach. But if we're going from a basic perspective, the easiest solution would probably be something with like basic controllers. And then you could even do that with combined with like a phone or a tablet, or of course, computers. Let's see. Yeah, Loco Lopez. That's what I'm thinking as well about that. The computer, the fan might help, but like 2014, it's getting a little bit old. So, I mean, probably getting something new would work wonders as well. Okay, so Mixmaster G is going a step even simpler, not exactly, but just iPads and algorithm DJ. But if we're talking iPad Pros, that already becomes more expensive. But with a controller would be better to have something a little bit tangible there, just a couple of buttons you can push. But of course, the most basic thing would be just a controller. But otherwise, just a tablet, but a controller would be a plus in my eyes. Yeah, Marianne. So smart crates in Serato, yes. I mean, of course, you can also have like a couple of folders. So, for instance, my setup is still trash, but I have certain folders that I created over the years that have divided my hip hop into a couple of different eras, and I have a smaller crate with some turntablism stuff like scratch records. I have a smaller folder for my dancehall and for a couple of other genres. But whenever I want to do something specific, I want to get to a point where I can just at any point say, hey, this is the type of event I'm playing tomorrow. I need basically a mellow, laid-back type of vibe because I'm doing sort of a lounge type of event, whatever. And I can go to my smart crates and say, hey, give me hip-hop, R&B, soul, with this color because I now color code everything, and I have a color code for loungy type of vibe. And then the smart crate gives me a bunch of stuff. And if I take that stuff and then I sort it, for instance, by key, I'm going to have a blast, you know? So it can help for sure. What's happening here? Just need to check this real quick. Because there's also we had our first band show in quite some time last weekend. We have another one this upcoming weekend, and I'm in the band app here. First gig actually went great, and looking forward to this weekend as well. So much fun. Like, we had our theater tour. That's one totally different vibe. From that theater tour, we jumped straight into a couple of band shows that we have now. Full band out there rocking, super great. And after that, we're going to have a ton of different more club type shows lined up as well. So all sorts of things happening, but I just needed to make sure there was nothing I needed to answer there. Let's see. Did I miss anything? There's a bunch of stuff here. All right, so I'm going to boost the shameless plug by Mixmaster G, and this is for everyone in the Netherlands. Mixmaster G is hosting a masterclass DJ from bedroom to main stage at Buck's Shop in Goes. For anyone not living near Goes, it's probably a long-ass ride. I know. I used to DJ in Goes, and from Amsterdam, that is a long drive. I've been at Bucks as well. It is a dope spot. So if you're in the area or you feel you want to have a nice drive this Saturday, and then you can check out Mixmaster G at Bucks Shop. Yeah, I mean, Loco Lopez 6, it happens, man. Like at a certain point, computers just get, um, I don't want to call them obsolete because they might still be powerful machines, but after a certain amount of software updates and new releases and new gear, all of a sudden the computer isn't good enough anymore. But if you had, like you said, it was a solid machine for 8 years, then you gave it a good run, so it was definitely worth the investment. And now with your M2 that you have now, that should also be something that you'll be using for hopefully the next, let's say, 8 years. And at that point, yeah, it definitely earned itself. Since 79 says, if 2014 MacBook Pro is getting old, my 2012 MacBook Pro is a dinosaur. Yes, it is. And that's just no knock on the computer. That's just unfortunately the world that we live in. They'll release certain new software and there might be a new protocol in there and it doesn't work with certain processors anymore or whatever they changed. They changed something in the OS and that can only run systems until a certain date. It happens at a certain point. Sometimes it makes sense though. For instance, if we take a look not at laptops but at Rain and what they had as hardware for Serato in the beginning, they had the SL1, which was like their audio interface that you could connect to your turntables to run Serato in DVS. And they had their first version of that inside a mixer. And that was the TTM 57, if I'm not mistaken. They're the mixer that had the audio interface in there. They worked great at the time, but that was a USB 1, not the USB 2.0, but the first version, so 1 or 1 point whatever. At a certain point, a brand has to say like, hey, that just can't run anymore the way we need it to run to send data to the software, whatever, and they'll take it out. So in certain cases, I understand, and sometimes I do feel that brands actually just make stuff obsolete at a certain point, even when it's not necessary yet. But okay, back to this DJ question here. What are things you look for when reading a room to determine what you will play? Very basically, looking at it, just how they react. There's a couple of different reactions you could see. One, if we're looking at the positive side, is enthusiasm, which could be just that they continue to dance and you can tell like, hey, maybe you even see more movement than you just saw. It could be audible that you can actually hear some oohs and ahs, which will happen when the hype is growing a little bit. But you can tell like, okay, it's working because they're still dancing, they're getting more excited, or you can even hear them. It could be somewhere in the middle when you can tell that they're still moving, but there should be a little peak in energy when a new track comes in. And sometimes you just see no little peak in energy, but they continue to dance. So it's okay. Then you have that point where you play something and you can tell like some people might even look up like, what's this? Okay, I'll still move, but if this next song isn't hitting, it's time to get over to the bar. No noise at all, no reaction, and you can tell that the energy is just dropping. They're not reacting to it. So you're looking at body language and you're listening. So basically, you're looking at people, and when they show excitement, you can tell. That's it for me. It's not really rocket science. Like normally, if the energy starts to go up a little bit, I'm playing tunes and I'm expecting at least an ooh or an ah or oohs and ahs. And when you don't get it, when you were expecting it, you're like, oh, okay, so they're not feeling this. Maybe I kind of misread that. I thought this could work as well. Try something else. Mind you, sometimes you will play for crowds that just aren't that outgoing. They don't really show that much emotion. That can happen as well. in that case, as long as they're dancing, you're probably doing fine. And I've had that happen as well. Like they were dancing, but it was not getting the reaction I normally receive for certain tracks. There are certain tracks in there that are hits in most places. And when you play them, you should get a little bit of energy, extra energy. I wasn't getting any of that. The other DJ who played before me, he was panicking. I won't panic. I was like, yo, they're still there. Just play. And if you feel that nothing is giving them anything extra and they don't move, then, hey, maybe play a little bit more for yourself. Get yourself more excited. Maybe they'll go along with you. Excuse me. After I did my set, I had the same experience. They weren't really getting hype. But then the bouncer told me afterwards, like, yeah, man, they're always like this. They just don't really show that much emotion. And a couple of people even came up to me afterwards like, hey, I really like what you did. I'm like, okay, you definitely didn't show it. I didn't tell them that, but that's what I was thinking. Like, you were not showing that, but that can happen as well. Yeah, okay. Thought I lost my mic there. Secondhand iPad Pros are really a bargain right now. Something stuck here. What's going on? Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, I still have the iPad Pro. I love it. I think they already have a new generation or maybe two, but this one's still working just fine for me right now. Simple, low-cost, entry-level controller like the new Marks. They would be awesome to teach kids with. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I mean, I understand that you can go just tablet, but I prefer just to give them something tangible so that they can actually move that pitch slider, you know, touch a jog wheel. And I mean, you can move on the iPad, but it's still a different feel. And you can get those controllers for dirt cheap as well. So that would be a great combo, though, like secondhand iPad Pros with basic controllers. Make sure you find out which controllers will work with iOS, with Algorithm DJ, for instance. But that could be a very good setup. And even if something would happen to one of those setups with the kids, it's not like a major loss either at that point. DJ Abi SG in the building. Salute. Or Abis G. When you're playing, where do you end up looking in between mixes? Bobbing to the music and enjoying yourself is fine and completely natural, but I find it weird to make eye contact with the crowd who, rather than dancing, are looking at the DJ. So in between mixes, I'm either still playing with the music because I add a little extra, so I might just do a little scratch, whatever, or I'm looking for my next song. Once I have that next song lined up, I'm probably going along with the music myself, maybe take the fader up and down a couple of times if I wanted to sing along, if we're already in that moment of the night. And there's no problem with making eye contact with the crowd either. You want to make sure you're scanning that crowd. Now, eye contact does not mean that you're like giving one specific person like that creepy stare, but look at the people. That's a good thing. So in between transitions, when you have that extra time and you're enjoying yourself, it never hurts to make sure you're checking the room to see, just to feel the vibe and temperature, what's going on. Nothing wrong with that. And I mean, maybe it's the style of music I play. I don't play a lot of parties where people are looking at the DJ. First off, that's more like an EDM thing, I think. Like if you're playing hip hop and R&B parties, the crowd they're doing them. They're not really looking at the DJ that much. You interact with them, but they're not like staring at the DJ waiting for us to do all of the hand signs. That's not what we do. So they're not looking for that either. Loco Lopez says, at least it's not Serato face. Yes. Very good point. I'd rather have you staring at the crowd than at your laptop screen. Very important. You should be looking at that screen when you're searching for songs. Now, sometimes I will, right before I get into a transition or scratch, I'll give a second peek to see if I'm still at the right point where I want it to be. But sometimes I don't even do that. I just re-trigger my cue point because I have a cue point set at that point. But beyond that, during my mix, I'm not looking at that screen. I'll be looking there, or I'm spending my time here where I'm working. And yes, Loco Lopez, that is very important. I did that a very, very long time ago. For you digital DJs out there, do not place your laptop in the middle, right in front of you. That's a definite no-no. First off, you're always going to be tempted to look at that screen because it's right in front of you. Second of all, that's why I did it. When I first started to play digitally, at first I had my laptop on my side because I didn't have a laptop stand. Then, like I explained earlier, my laptop died on me because it overheated, and I understood, like, okay, I have to lift it off the table. Got myself a laptop stand, placed it in front of me. After like the first gig, I was like, this is not working. I'm missing my view of the crowd. So I was very early in getting that laptop away from the front. My laptop is always on the side. And if you have issues with laptop face, it's definitely better to have it there. And train yourself to look at it when you're browsing. Once you have your tracks loaded, you should be focused on this area. Your DJ set, crowd. DJ set, crowd. And if you have to take a peek every now and then, you just take a quick peek and you go back to your business. DJ Rennie D, salute to you. Loco Lopez says, I love when I read lips and see someone say, this is my song, or crowd cheers. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, when they give you that energy, that is a major boost. That really, really gives you that boost. Sin Indicate says, Serato 3.0 works best with a MacBook 2019 and above, and at least 16 gigs of RAM. Above, yes, but I'm using a MacBook Air M1 with 8 gigs. I have like the base model. I think that's 8 gigs. Yeah. No issues there either. Even reading the crowd, I feel it's more feeling the energy and actually hearing them rather than looking at how they react. It's a combination. It's a combination. Of course, if you're playing and you hear the cheers, that's a good thing. That tells you that they like it. But having that eye contact with the crowd is not only about reading that crowd. It's about actually sharing the energy with that crowd. Because when I throw a new banger in and I'm looking at that crowd, a couple of people will look back and some people will give you that quick, like, yes, this is my song. They might not even say, but they'll give you that look. You just had a moment. They showed that appreciation to you, and they saw that you saw their appreciation. You won't get that if you're just playing and not looking at the crowd. They'll still enjoy that song, but imagine you hear that song, you're like, yeah, I love that song. When you look at the DJ and the DJ is just looking at the set. You still like the song, but it would even feel better for you if that DJ recognized that you were showing them love. So it's about more than just reading that crowd. W, good to see you. Arm TV, salute. And what time did I start? Because like I said, I started earlier, but I also have to leave earlier. No, we still have time. We still have time. Bit curious, have you handled requests of songs you definitely don't want to play at the time or even at all for the night? Or how have you handled requests of a song? So when it comes to requests, I have my principles and my stand on that. I don't totally dislike requests because they can be helpful at times. But I will never play songs I do not like. If I'm playing my own set, I have to add that caveat. There's been a couple of occasions where I've played songs that I don't like, but in those cases, it was very specific. One of those instances was a wedding. I'm not a wedding DJ, but I've played a couple of weddings for friends, and the bride had a couple of songs that she really wanted to hear. I'm going to play those songs, and I have no issue playing those songs. Even though they're songs I would normally not play because I don't like them, I'm most definitely playing them for her for that night. But basically only in those special occasions. So normally I play songs I want to play. I'm reading the crowd. I want to make sure I'm pleasing that crowd, but I'll find songs to please the crowd without playing songs that I don't want to play. Now, do I receive requests for songs that I don't want to play? Yes, for sure. Do most people who request songs have any idea of how DJing a set actually works? No, they don't. And I can tell because a lot of times when people are requesting songs, they're requesting songs that will make absolutely no sense to play at that specific moment. You're in a certain type of vibe. The entire crowd is into that vibe. And then you always have that one person who requests a song, which is a totally different vibe, totally different tempo, totally different feeling. In other words, it will totally kill the vibe that I'm currently building. So in that case, if they request a song and I feel it's a song that I'm probably going to play later on, I'll let them know, oh yeah, I'm playing that later. Sometimes they'll give you that dirty look because they have no idea why you would play it later when they're asking for it now. They want to hear it now. But that's not my issue anymore. I've already recognized their request and told them what's going to happen. They can like it or dislike it. I don't care. We're done now. I'm going to play that later. Or if they're asking for a song that I know I'm not even going to play later, because that's just not a song I play, I'll let them know, like, nah, I'm not playing that. In the beginning, the earlier years, I was kind of scared to say that. So I would say, I'm going to look, maybe try to keep it in the middle. I don't do that anymore. If someone requests a song that I know I'm not going to play, I'll let them know now. If I don't let them know now and I leave it in the middle or I give them that maybe, they'll be back in 20, 30 minutes asking for that song again. And if I still keep it in the middle, they'll come back 20 to 30 minutes later. So no, I'll get that out of the way the first time. Let them know, like, yeah, I'm not playing that. Or if I'm doing a set and there's another DJ playing after me, I have no issue telling them, like, hey, nah, I'm not going to play that. You can ask the other DJ just to mess with them a little bit, but no. So that's how I handle it. I also take into consideration how someone approaches me. If you come to me in a disrespectful manner, or you're treating me like some sort of lackey who needs to do exactly what you say, even if you're requesting a song that I would most likely play, but you're being an asshole, no. I'm definitely giving you the no. Even if I play the song later on, I'm definitely not playing it for you. Luckily, that hasn't happened to me too many times. And most of the times I'm able to handle that normally. But some people will just approach you in a way that you're like, no respect is shown, no respect is given. Simple. Or the classic, hey, and mind you, I have a full dance floor dancing, and someone will come up to you like, can you play something I can dance to? First time I was flabbergasted. I didn't know what that meant. Now when someone asks me that, basically I just laugh. Not in a disrespectful way, like I'm laughing at you, but I'm like, I'll just give them a quick giggle like, I don't know. I mean, this seems to be working for those 700 people. And maybe I'll even give you a quick like what? And most of the times they're going to request something that makes no sense for the night, for the theme, and for the vibe at all. And that's like I said in the beginning. They're so in their own head. Hey, I like this song. The DJ should play this song. You walked into a club, it's clearly a hip hop R&B night with some dance hall. I'm in the middle of a dance hall set, and then they come in and they're like, "Hey, can you play Tiesto?" Have you paid attention to what's going on around you? Like, but they don't. In their head, they're like, "Hey, I like Tiesto, so I want to hear that. I'm going to go to the DJ and ask for it." So I always try to stay polite, but if you don't show respect, that changes. I haven't had like crazy issues yet, but anytime you feel they're bothering you too much, make sure you find security and let them know, "Hey, I'm having a hard time working," because people don't seem to understand that you're working. I can't walk into a bakery and just get behind the counter and just ask the guy there, like, "Hey, can you make me something I can eat?" And, that's not how it works, but somehow they feel that DJs are more approachable and they can just walk into our job and tell us what to do. So security sometimes is the best answer. Let's see. With the announcement of Logic Pro for the iPad, do you think Serato Studio will make the leap to the iPad as well? Who knows? I mean, more things are coming to the iPad Pro. I haven't used it yet, but you do have DaVinci Resolve, for instance, now also has a full version for the iPad. You do need an iPad with the M1 in there or M2. But which mine doesn't have, but it still works, but in a limited capacity. But more and more can come to the newer iPads because of how powerful they are. So who knows? Who knows? Big Baby Jesus, salute. And Arm TV says, "I went to a party last Friday as a guest. The DJ was rocking, but the adults weren't feeling it. He had to adjust to teenagers, and he got the response. It's a hit and miss with experience. He knew to do that." That can happen, for sure, depending on what type of people you're rocking. And with certain events, it can get kind of tricky. If you have like a mixed crowd in there with younger and older, it's going to be really hard to please all of them at the same time. So you hopefully are able to find a blend which can keep both parties a little bit involved. But that's not easy. I believe to be a great DJ, you need those type of experiences, ups and downs. And trust me, we've all been through it. Yeah, like that will happen. Like a lot of times we're not in control of what type of environment we will end up in. Meaning, even if you understand the type of thing you're booked for, if you've never been to a certain venue before, you might end up in a place where the vibe is totally different than you were expecting, or the crowd is totally different than you were expecting. Or like I said, you have some type of event with a totally mixed crowd where no style of music will work for everyone, and you're juggling to see how you can please all of the people, which is basically impossible to do for a long amount of time. Yeah. But all of those scenarios will help you to become more confident whenever something like that occurs again. Same thing for me when something goes wrong at an event, like not just a DJ event, but also at one of the shows. I've been touring with Brainpower, the MC from Amsterdam, for 25 years now, and we've been through everything. And that teaches you at a certain point to become calm and understand, like, okay, this is the solution, or okay, we're gonna solve this first and then make it happen. But the first time you run into certain issues, you might panic or not know what to do. And yeah, man, I don't think there's a lot of stuff that can really freak me out anymore. There's too many stories there. Nothing against the DJ who plays good music and can move a crowd. That's the main objective of a DJ. But in the career of a DJ, should she experience turntables? Only if he or she wants to. Joe DJ, that will be my answer. Like, I see I get a lot of messages from DJs who are currently on controllers and who are asking me like, "Hey, I want to now learn how to do it on turntables and then want suggestions for turntables. So that happens. I would never, never, never tell someone who's currently on controllers or only plays with CDJs, like, hey, you should at a certain point play with turntables. You will never hear me say that. Now, if someone were to come up to me and ask me, like, hey, what is the best way for me to become the best turntablist I can possibly be? Hey, it's in the name, turntablist. So if you want to go beyond just the basic scratches and juggles and you want to learn more and become better, the turntable will be your best tool because of the rotating platters, because that will teach you so much more about why you're doing certain motions and just give you a better feel. Now, could you say, okay, but that means you could also suggest that they just use a Rev 7 or a Rain 1 or something like that? Yeah, to a certain degree, because those motorized platters will also give you that feel. The only difference is the full 12-inch platter compared to like the smaller 7 or 10-inch. But that would be my only time answering, like, hey, turntables or maybe motorized platters. But no, it's not something you need at all. I was once told I was the worst DJ in the world because I didn't have an unpopular song by 2 Chainz. 6. Hey, trust me when I tell you, I've been there plenty of times. That one person will give you that look you dead in your eyes. Sometimes tell you, but most of the times it look you dead in your eyes like you are the wackest DJ on the planet. They'll look at you with disgust when you give them no when they ask for that certain song. Confusion. Why? Disgust. Ugh. And then they'll walk away. And some will even tell you, like, terrible DJ. I'm just reminded by looking at the rest of the crowd, like, no, I think I'm doing pretty well. Like, the rest of the people aren't dancing. And that's the thing. You're never going to please everyone. And it comes back to people being in their own head and feeling like they should be pleased at all time. We got Nabs the DJ with that follow. I appreciate that. And Green Alert says, I don't get that, honestly. There's no need to be that way. It costs nothing to be a decent human. I agree. Rennie D, I always get that one. Yep. Jay Valeria can relate. I mean, yeah, we've all been there. Joe DJ, I'm not saying it as a requirement, just an experience, a different way of looking at DJing. We agree you can be the dopest DJ playing on anything as long as you know what to play at the right time. Yeah, no, but even that, I would never tell someone like, hey, you should at least play on turntables once to feel what it's what that's like. I mean, I will tell anyone I love playing on turntables. I love the feeling, but that's up to people. So I would never tell them, like, that's something you should really do at least once. Green Alert, every Wednesday you can find me right here for this Q&A. And every Sunday we're doing the mix session, but that's not on my YouTube. So this you can find on my YouTube channel, the weekly Q&A. My Sunday live streams you can find on Mixcloud, Twitch, Twitter, and Kick. And Larry K, I'm using Restream.io. And that allows you to stream to multiple platforms. So in this instance today, at this moment, I think I'm streaming on 6 or 7. No, I didn't turn Kick on. So right now we're on YouTube, we're on Mixcloud, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. And I think that's it. And I didn't turn Kick on. So we're on 5, or I'm even forgetting one. They have like all the normal platforms in there you can choose, but you can also have like a custom address for certain others. So I could add a custom address, send that to Yellow Duck to add Instagram, which I will do at a certain point. There's other services that offer the multi-stream. I'm just using Restream. StreamYard is another one, and I think there's probably more. Sven, what this one said, did you also come to the situation that someone wanted to give you money for playing a wish song? Yes, that's a great question. Yes, I've been in that situation as well. And I want to start off by saying I will not knock any DJ for accepting money to play a song, especially because I understand that money is vital. And for a lot of people, especially if DJing is your source of income and you need every euro, dollar, or yen you can get, that extra thing helps. I mean, I know there's also DJs out there who have actual tip jars where people can add tips. So put money in the tip jar and request a song. That is up to you. For me personally, I didn't do it. And I remember one specific gig I was playing, and this guy came up and he was like, yo, and he showed me the 50 euro bill, like, play this song. And I just told him dead to his face, bro, I'm not a jukebox. 50 euros would be very nice, honestly. So, again, I'm not knocking anyone, but at that specific moment, to me, it felt really disrespectful. And I don't think the guy even gave it that much thought, but it was clear that it was a guy who was very used to his money getting him his way. And he was pretty sure that, hey, I'm showing you money, so you're going to do what I want. That hit me the wrong way. So, no. Yeah. That's just a personal thing. Now, would I do it differently in different circumstances? I don't know. Maybe if the approach was different, it would feel different. I know, let's say someone would come up to me like, yo, man, it's my birthday today. I would love to hear this track. Could you play it? And I'm like, yeah, man, dope. Okay, thanks. And wants to give me money. I would probably still feel uncomfortable to take that money because I was already going to play this track for you anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I think I don't really think I can do that. With stems, you can have the best of both worlds with a diverse age group. You can have you can play a beat from an old song and mash in the vocals of a newer song. Yeah, Rennie D, I think that is a great suggestion. What I also wanted to add, to that specific thing, especially nowadays with a lot of the newer music, I think like half the new tracks I hear are either remixes of older songs, covers of older songs, or they rehashed an older track one way or the other, which also allows you to mix between old and new. But the stems, yes, they make mashups so much easier. Have you ever had a complete and total power cut? Yep. I'll do you one better. I used to play at a club with my bro DJ Precise, rest in peace. And at this club, they had a back door, an emergency exit. Now, back in the days here in Amsterdam, at certain clubs, you would have, or certain clubs, a lot of clubs, you would have like a couple of guys in there, and they would be the inside guy who would let other people in through like an emergency door. That would happen. This club had like certain clubs would have like an alarm. So if someone would open the emergency door, you would hear a sound. I also had a club where they had like a light that would go on. In this club, whenever someone opened the emergency door, it would cut the power on stage. Bruh. This emergency door opened at least once every time we played there. Sometimes multiple times a night. Not all the power in the club. So you gotta understand, the people on the dance floor, they still have their lights. The stage still has lights because they're not on the same group as what happens on stage, but our equipment is turned off. Now, it will turn back on in sometimes a couple of seconds, but during that time, we have no music, we also have no mic, and the entire crowd looks at you. The entire crowd is looking dead in your face like, bro, because it happened so abruptly. They're in the middle. They're not expecting it. We're not expecting it. Boom. No sound. Hey. Yo, and you know why it happened, but you can't tell them because the mic is not working either. Then you have to wait. And yeah, so yes, I've been in that situation there. I've also been in that situation with Brainpower. We were rocking one of the biggest festivals here in the Netherlands. This was years ago. 2000, I don't know, whatever, 3, 4, something like that. Major stage, I don't know how many people, I think 7, 10,000, like one of those large stages. Right at the end of our show, they blew up the aggregate, the power source behind the stage. So we lost all audio on stage, standing in front of that crowd. In that specific case, Brainpower moved all the way to the front of the stage and did like an acapella freestyle, which only the maybe first 50 to 100 people could hear, but they were rocking, and the rest of the crowd somehow could tell like, hey, he's still trying to do something. But after that, we just had to stop. There was nothing we could do. So that's unfortunate, but it was pretty obvious that this was not our fault. Like everything just boom, went out. So yeah, I've been there. We can't let that one negative person get to us during the gig. For sure. For sure. No, that's the thing. I don't let the negativity get to me. The first time it happens, let's be honest, especially if you're an up-and-coming DJ, it does feel like it messes with you at that moment when someone like tells you that you're a bad DJ. You might have to reflect on, hey, damn, did I do something bad? But I found out soon enough, like, okay, so the next time that happened, the only thing I could do is laugh and give them the finger. Not the middle finger, but I'll give them this one, like, and go back to doing what I was doing. Like, it does me, it hits me, affects me in no way besides a humorous way. It kind of makes me laugh. And then I focus on the people who were having a great time again. And Lamumba says, gotta be careful accepting money for songs. Those tear the club up gang songs can start some BS and shut the spot down. So those two don't exactly have something to do with the other, because the tear the club up gang songs can get played or get played even when not accepting money for it. So those things are two separate issues. I will say it is important to also, when it comes to reading the crowd, not just reading their reaction, but seeing what kind of people are at a specific event. Can you tell? Is the crowd mellow? Is the crowd a little thuggish? Is the crowd just like super ghetto? Is the crowd like crazy drunk tourists? All of those different elements can have a different effect on the night. Also, how's the crowd when you look at like male female? What's the percentages like? So at a certain point, like if you see that the ladies are there, you played a couple of like rowdy songs, and you can tell like, oh, the ladies are backing out and the fellas are taking over. You might not want that to go on for too much longer because you want the ladies back in there. Or if it's a little bit later in the evening, and you can tell like, okay, you can like smell the tension in the air. That might not be the best moment to bring it back to a level where people want to get into a mosh pit, because then you know if someone bumps into someone, it could cause an issue. But I have to add, I don't want to blame the music too much. I've unfortunately been not the victim, but a witness to shootings in clubs. And the one that happened right in front of my face was when we were playing Project GMB, Maria, Maria. Maria, Maria, bop, bop, bop. That was not because of the song. That was something else going on. So, to put it lightly, shit will pop off, regardless of what you're playing. If the wrong people meet in the middle of a club, things can go down. You're not going to stop that. But, indeed, if a vibe is reaching a certain point, it might be better to try to get the vibe more mellow by playing different music. That's your responsibility as well when you're reading that crowd. You don't just want to keep that energy there when you can tell, like, hey, this could probably go bad. You know? In the 80s, at the end of the event, I would have people show me a $20 bill asking for a song. I would snatch the bill and ask what song they wanted. Never was there a problem. Maybe that's regards to Lumumba's comment, MacGyver. Larry K says, this is totally off DJ question, but pardon me, I'm from Nigeria and I live here in China and I started learning this DJ craft, but it's not been else asking one or two questions at some point. But can I message on IG? I mean, yes, you can send me a DM on IG. You can also ask any question here as well, if it's a question that can maybe help other DJs as well. I want to have personal contact with you, please. Well, like I said, you can DM on IG, and that's as far as it goes. I get a lot of questions like people asking, hey, man, do you have WhatsApp? What's your number? No, that's one level too far. I'm accessible online on social media. People can ask me questions, send me an email, send me a DM, come here in the live. That's all perfectly fine. So there's plenty of access to me, but that's where the access stops. So for sure, hit me up if you don't want to ask a question here. Some people prefer not to ask questions in quote unquote public like this. You can always send me either an email or DM on IG. Yes. An automatic spotlight that lit up the emergency door would make them think twice of using it. Yeah, Mixed Master G, like I said, like the other club had like a light. I know one had like an alarm. So you would be DJing and then you would get like this siren. But yeah, then that one club just had that power off. I never understood the logic. I mean, the only thing is because the music cuts off straight away, security would automatically know like, hey, the door is open, but it's messed up for the DJs. All right, I got to do a quick time check. Yeah, we're going to do a little bit longer, a couple more. You can be rocking a crowd all night long, but the minute something goes wrong with the audio, the crowd can turn on the DJ. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really had a crowd like totally turn on me, but they will kind of blame the DJ. I mean, I understand. We're the ones providing the music, so when the music stops, who else should they be looking at? They're going to look at us, even when most of the times it's not our fault. Same thing when I used to play with normal vinyl. And you would have someone bump into the DJ booth. Like I used to play at a club and the DJ booth would be in front of a stage. So you would be playing basically in between the people. You would have people all around you, which can be a very dope thing when it comes to the vibe because you really feel like you're all together. But it would also mean that people would have direct contact with that booth. And then when it gets rowdy and they get drunk and they boom, bump into that DJ booth, sometimes the record would skip and then they're still looking at you like, hey, what happened to the song when it's that person? Now, luckily, most of the times you would have people around the booth that would see it happen and then they would intervene like, yo, get the people a little bit away from the booth. But they're always going to look at us first, 100%. ARMTV, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, if I forget, holla at me. Yes. So right after I end this stream, I will fix that 100%. Some clubs I've worked at won't let guys in big groups because of that very reason. Green alert, 100%. That happened or happens here as well, which is understandable. You know, it's an easy fix though, because we've had it happen too. We would go out of town. We would be with like 8 guys or 10 guys, 2 cars, head over to a different city. We already knew as DJs as well, like, hey, we shouldn't approach this club as this one group. So 2 would go first. Then you would have 2 more walk in. If they see other girls walking up to that club, they start to just mingle with those girls. So they're basically walking up to the club with those girls. We would spread out and then meet up inside, because you don't want to get that. If they see a large group of dudes, yeah, chances are they'll tell you like, sorry, fellas, private party, or do you have a membership, or any one of those nonsense excuses that we use to not let people in clubs. And I've been on the receiving end of all of those arguments many times for different reasons. Earl Whiff, salute. And green alert, before I forget, did you manage to fix that troublesome flash drive during the stream a few weeks ago? Yeah, you know what? The funny part is, I had that flash drive and I was like, yeah, this is the one because it has that thing on the end. Turns out I took another look afterwards. This is not that flash drive. This is just some corrupted flash drive that has issues. I had another one here, but the thingy on top with the other one is black, and that was my gig disc flash drive, and that had everything on it already. So this was actually, and I still have it here. I'm going to take another look at it, and otherwise I'll just toss it because I have plenty of those. But that was not the right one. That's why it was causing issues on multiple computers. But maybe if I do like a total, just like wipe and reset, everything will work again. But yeah. Let's see. How to deal with an issue of using Serato DJ Pro and you get a gig at a bar and the controller is record box. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think it's always a good idea to be familiar with different DJ software. Communicate so you know in advance what they have, and if you know in advance, then you have to decide like if you're ready for that. I mean, visually, they look pretty similar. You're gonna most likely find most of the features pretty easily. To me, the controller would be more important than the software, as long as I know the main features. What controller is it? Do I know how to use that controller? Then I can make it work, especially now if you have a conversion tool and you can at least make sure that you have everything you need converted so it works on record box, so you can see all your cue points and loops. It's easier now than it was in the past. So in that case, once again, Mixmaster G with his conversion utility would be helpful, just to have those files ready so that you have everything you have in Serato also ready to work in record box. And then just look at 1 or 2 videos in advance of record box DJ in performance mode and the controller that's going to be there, so that you know where to find the main features. And then it should be okay enough to have a good DJ set. Okay, Lamumba wants to be more specific. The songs with direct gang taunting other gang songs, but agreed on your point overall with music. I mean, I think that really depends on where you play, bro. Because, for instance, I'm here in Amsterdam, and you have songs of gangs taunting other gangs, and especially in that drill scene, it's pretty crazy with this new generation, how they actually just mock the dead, people they've personally murdered from their ops. It's ridiculous to me, but who live 5 minutes away, and then mock them in songs. I could imagine if you're playing in areas where those people are from, or if they have affiliated gangs in that area, that might be a totally different scenario. That's not happening here in Amsterdam. We don't have gangs here affiliated to the gangs in those songs. So in that case, it's not an issue. Then again, if something would be comparable on a local level, then I would have to make sure that I do a little research. And if I have certain songs and I know that I'm in a certain area, maybe certain songs shouldn't be played. So I understand what you're saying. I just don't have to worry about that here. And sometimes in the States especially, you might not even be aware. Then it could get tricky. And hopefully all that would happen to a DJ then is that someone would just come up to the DJ and let them know, like, hey, turn that off right now. So you can turn it off before it escalates into something worse. Green alert, preparation is everything. Yes, sir. Indeed. It helps so much. And even if prep just means that you know what type of gear is there and what software you're going to be using, and that you can have songs ready to play in that software, you're already a long way there, or a lot closer to having a normal or good set. I used to be able to record a CD from Serato. I have since forgot. Can you give a quick walkthrough? Record a CD from Serato. The only, I mean, record directly to CD. That sounds weird to me. I mean, you could record your set in Serato and have an audio file and burn that to a CD if you still have a CD drive in your computer to burn CDs. Otherwise, I actually don't know. I've never heard of like recording a CD from Serato. So I don't know how that works. So MacGyver, we have, we don't really have minutes, but if you can elaborate on that quickly, then maybe we can give an answer. But I've never heard of recording to a CD from Serato. And what advice do you have for a DJ who wants to use CDJ for the first time in a club? So the best thing for you to do is just to do a little research. This is actually a two answer here. One, prepare your music in Rekordbox. You need to do that. If you're going to play on CDJs with a flash drive. If you're going to play on CDJs with your laptop and Serato or some other software, that's different. But if you're going to DJ on CDJs with a flash drive, make sure you prepare your music in Rekordbox. Otherwise, you can have a whole lot of music on your flash drive. You can put that flash drive in the CDJ, and it's just going to show you your folder with tracks, but you have no way to sort them, no cues, nothing like that. So you have to import your music in Rekordbox, set cues, whatever you want to do. It will get analyzed. Then you export it to your flash drive. And when you insert that into the CDJ, now you can at least sort your tracks by BPM or key, you name it. So that's one, you need to prep in Rekordbox if you're going to use a flash drive on CDJs. Number two, just take a look at a couple of videos about the CDJs so you know the features and how to access the features. Simple stuff like cue and play, pitch, master tempo. There's a pitch range, so you know where to find that. There's a screen with a lot of info on there. There's cue buttons, and there's a loop section. How do you browse on a CDJ? How do you sort? Because when you see all the tracks, you have to hit menu and hit sort. You need to check that in advance so you don't have to look for that when you're in the venue. And you can find all of that info online. There's plenty of videos about CDJs, even if it's just an overview video on Pioneer and maybe a review. That should get you quite a long way. Let's say... MacGyver says, how do I burn the file to CD? So do you still have a CD drive in your computer? If so, then most likely it has the option to burn. And then depending on what software you use, you have either specific like burning software. And And in some cases, I believe, like on Windows, I think if you're in Windows Media Player, you can even select songs and just click on them to say burn to CD. But I haven't done that in a minute. For Mac, I do believe you might need software to do that. I haven't done that on a Mac in forever. So people in the chat, right before we leave, how do you burn your CDs if you're still burning CDs on Mac? Do you need specific software for that? And how are you doing it on Windows? I didn't have any drives anymore. I recently went out and actually just bought a little burner for like $10 on Amazon. But I haven't had a chance to properly use it because the discs that I had here that I thought were empty weren't empty. But I actually just had a bunch of songs in Windows Media Player, and I could just click on burn to CD there. The only reason it didn't work is because the disc wasn't empty. Chris Boswell, I love the Rev 7. I absolutely love it. Motorized platters, most important thing for me. It has that turntable feel and just the layout of it. The way it's laid out in battle style, same way I use my turntables. Love that. And I'm a fan of Pioneer with their onboard effect. So for me, it is the perfect controller when I use a controller. And yeah, Green Alert. I have very limited experience with Ableton and Launchpad, so I don't think there's going to be much of an answer coming from me yet until I get a chance to properly try that out. I have Ableton, haven't used it yet, and I bought my youngest son the smallest Launchpad, and I still want to experiment with that, but I haven't done that yet. All right, let's see. One more, and then we do have to actually call it a day. Do you think the Rev 7 is too expensive? I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, most of those top-tier controllers run in that same type of same price range, I think. Not totally sure about that. But to me, it would be worth it. But I can only speak for me. And I absolutely love it. Can't afford one yet. Luckily, most of the times I have one here in the studio because Pioneer lets me use one of their units. And Green Alert, I agree. Like, I mean, prices on everything have gone up. That's what I'm saying. Like it's. I don't think there's a lot of controllers in that top tier range that are like a lot more affordable at all. Let's see. Anything else in here? Yeah, indeed. And that's a good point by Mixmaster G. Make sure you know exactly what type of CDJ it is. Like I was assuming we were talking about 2000 Nexus 2 or something else. But sometimes that's not the case. I've been in that situation once where they told me we have CDJs, and then they had the CDJ. I don't know. I don't even know which one that was, like something like a 800 or something like that. And it didn't have like hot cues. It had 4 buttons, but those were only for, I think, loops. It was something crazy. Like I had never used that unit before. So that was a surprise, and that was my mistake when that happened. It wasn't a small venue, not a lot of people there, so I still have fun with it. But that was my mistake for not double checking, like, hey, which specific setup is there? Last question. And yes, I'm going to take, I may have missed something, but I'm going to take this as the last question because then I do have to actually do something for ARM real quick. And then I have to get back to lifting some more heavy stuff, helping someone move. All right, last question. What things do I need to buy when I want to start making beats myself? Hey, first off, if you want to start out and you have a computer or even just a phone, start with a music making app. Don't even look at gear yet. There's a lot of dope gear out there. You can use hardware. You can use in combination with software, standalone hardware. There's so many different ways and workflows out there. But just start with some software, and a lot of the production software will offer you free versions. I was just talking about Ableton. I still haven't done it, given it proper time, but they have a free version. I think FL Studio has a free version, not totally sure. I think there's a light version that you can get from Cubase, from a lot of different software out there, and just start with that just to experiment with it. Most of that software already comes with like at least a couple of like plugins in there, so you can just find out how a DAW, a digital audio workstation, works. Now, if you find out that you just don't like the way software works and you want to go into hardware, that comes later. Start with something free right now and see if you actually like this music making thing before you get into buying all sorts of stuff. All right. I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in. Big shout out DJ Big Scully. As we leave, I'll be back here next Wednesday with the Q&A, and join me on Sunday for my Sunday Sessions mix show. And like I announced earlier in the show, after I received that question about the dance battles, coming Monday, I'm DJing at Raw Essence here in the Netherlands in a town called Zwolle. I DJ there every year. I've been doing that for years now. I do the hip-hop category. There's two other DJs who do the house and freestyle category, and I already talked to them. I'm going to be live streaming my parts of the event, but maybe I get to just live stream the entire event. I'll be double-checking that with them this weekend. Are the other DJs cool with me like streaming their sets as well? And I'm going to try to make that a multicam setup so that you can see the DJ set and the dance floor, but I have to make sure I get the okay for all of that, because I'm not just going to stream people if that's not okay. But Sunday, the Sunday Sessions, and on Monday, catch me live at Raw Essence. That starts at 3 or 3:15 in the afternoon here in Amsterdam. But just follow me on IG. I'll make sure to post a countdown timer so you know what's good. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Everyone in the chat, I appreciate all the input y'all gave me. Special shout out Mixmaster G. And all the lurkers listening in the back, I hope you learned something from this, or you at least it added some value to you. Much love to all of you out there in the DJ community. See you when I see you. Peace.